Yeah. Hello, hello. Welcome. All-purpose rhubarb. Yes, welcome. Hello. How are you doing? It's the weekend. It is the weekend, baby. And I have one medium-sized spell slot sufficient that I could possibly do a stream today, and I want to do a stream today because I miss all of your bloody faces. How are you doing? Mr. Sinks, how are you doing? Dr. Yasmin, good to see you. We did have a Poppy on my lap just before stream. Is this thing on? Oh, okay, PoppyCam 2 is overriding this one. Oh, PoppyCam 1 is overriding this one. I even set up my phone as like a temporary PoppyCam 3. Because she was on my lap, you see, and I couldn't get up to get the official PoppyCam 1 and 2. So I had to improvise. But then as she does, as Poppy is wont to do, like minutes after I started the stream, she gets up and leaves. I'm on a new ISP today. Connection has been stable since the switch yesterday. Here's hoping. I'm pretty well, thank you. Yourself? I'm feeling very scuffed. Work is taking a lot out of me. But I slept in this morning, and I feel a little bit rested. I feel like maybe I could do a little weekend stream here and there. I think Mondays are a lost cause. Mondays are brutal. But, yeah. Like, no commitment, occasional stream. I could possibly do that on the weekend. She's a Noah, yeah. It's not as if, like, she was very comfy. She was there for a good half an hour. I wasn't saying anything with my deep, booming projection streamer voice. I was still using the high-pitched, good kitty, kitty is comfy, kitty gets pants voice. She just knows when I'm about to stream. Yeah. Don't you? You're a cutie. So, yeah, like everyone knows, I've been doing a new job recently, and I'm on like my 6th week or something. I'm starting to lose count. The work itself isn't too bad. Like, okay, I have had a few difficult problems thrown my way now that I've gotten used to things. But, you know, the work itself isn't like super hectic. Oh, we've got production issues left and right, we have to go fix them, etc. It is just a 9-to-5 job. It's just that Neko is not built for 9-to-5 jobs. No. That's taking all of my capacity at the moment. It's taking 120% of my capacity. I much prefer a 4-day work week. But I have to do this because good luck getting a 4-day work week in this economy. 9-to-5 is brutal, I can't do it, yeah. We need to unite, comrade, and overthrow the ruling aristocracy and get, you know, more worker rights. Seize the means of production. But here's an interesting thing, right? So, ostensibly, my new job is programming, because that is what I do for a living. I don't think I've written any code all this week. Oh, hang on, we've got background music, but it could probably be bumped up a bit. There. Like, half of my time this week has just been testing and investigating, like, tickets on bug things or things we want to do. Is this feasible, what have you. which is a little draining, but it's not like using the programming half of my brain. And then the other half has been vibe coding with all the fucking AI tools that we've got. Instead of actually doing the programming myself, I'm just telling this thing, hey, can we make a tool here to add some random data for this CSV file that I need to import? And it's not bad. Like, I can see it can be a useful tool if you're using it right. Certainly I like to use these things as a way for me to quickly mock up a little tool to help me do the main task. Like, that's what it's good at. You don't want to use it for the really complicated refactor that you have to do, because it will lose the plot and it will fuck things up. But you can use it to help you come up with test tools for the really complicated refactor, or other things that would otherwise be a diversion from your main task. Yeah, so like, it's... Hi, puppy. It's the helpful intern that... She's over there on the sofa. And I won't point the camera there because my flatmate might come home from a walk and does not wish to be perceived. Maybe I will point this at the pedestal so that we can see if Poppy shows up there. Yeah, it's like the helpful intern that you go like, hey, you could help me out on this task if you quickly made a little tool to scrape the database for position IDs, you know? And in those cases, it's not code that's going to production. You're not too worried about security problems or bugs. If the tool isn't perfect, it's not perfect, that's fine. I made a little thing to help me color the log files that the application was producing, because I did a little review on existing tools that will format log output for me, and they were all kind of not exactly what I wanted. So I was like, fuck it, yeah, let's use the AI that work is paying for. They want to spend money on this, let them spend money. Give me a tool written in Rust that will colorize this log output for me. And I got it working mostly how I want. It's not so much a time saver, but it's like reducing your cognitive load. Anyway, this extremely long roundabout thing that I'm getting to is, I haven't programmed all week. And there is the problem that my team lead has pointed out to us, that like, hey, you can kind of let your skills rot if you're not exercising them enough. So once in a while, it's probably still worth it to like actually go and do the thing yourself, just to keep your skills sharp, because otherwise everyone will get a dependency on these AI tools, and then everyone will be forced to use them, and then OpenAI, Microsoft, Facebook, whoever, Google, they can just jack up the price. So yeah, don't get too dependent on it. So I should do some programming, and I haven't done like exercised that part of my head today, this week. So you know what I could do? I could do QBasic Gamedev stream, because if there's one thing that I don't think AI is going to help with, it's QBasic code. Here's where we were up to last week. I'm not quite clipping on my microphone, but like it's getting there sometimes. Let me move this a little bit further away. How's that? Okay. So there's a DOS game jam going on. It's a long DOSember game jam because it's not even DOSember yet, but we've got some run up to try and come up with something. And that's good, because I'm only really doing this when I'm streaming, and I'm not streaming that much. But my idea was to take some of the code I'd written for STREWTH and make an interactive fiction tool that people could use to make little interactive fiction games for DOS. And it would use the DOSDraw tool that DenseQuix made. Like, you can save a 80 by 25 text mode graphic kind of thing, and this thing would be able to import it. I have to save it as a different file format for QBasic to be able to load it quickly, but that's fine. And you could use these as like screens that the player transitions between, almost like a PowerPoint slide, interactive PowerPoint slide adventure game for DOS. That would be the pitch if I was actually pitching this game. So I don't think we got very far with this yet. We can load the game, and if you press escape, you can have a little exit game pop up. Now that doesn't look centered to me. I think it's the cyan text that needs to be to the right by one character. Because like we've got some sort of blank space on the left and the right. Yeah. So you can pray, yes, you quit, and you quit. Hooray. So, yes. What was I even doing? Let's have a look through the code. Main file has a do global keys thing that looks for escape being pressed, yay. Load game just, pretends to actually load files. This will be a tricky one, because QBasic doesn't have like really robust file accessing functions. We might have to import a library if we want to present like the user with a list of files to open. Because with QBasic you just kind of try to open the file, and if it fails, it's a big error. Main loop just looks for keys, yay. And menu exit. There we go. So we changed the color, and then we say, are you sure you want to quit on row 6? So that is presumably centered on the actual screen. And the frame is also presumably centered. I guess I'll just have to put up with it for now, and I can debug it later, because it would be better to have, get something made first. You can make it look good later. So what do I want to do next? I guess we want to be able to load DOSDraw things. And if we're gonna be able to load DOSDraw things, we should make a DOSDraw thing. There is also the actual native DOS program, DOSDraw, which is it's basically what DOSDraw is based on. I need to add some sort of replay gain to my background music, because some of these tracks are much louder than others. What if I opened up a web browser and shared my screen a bit in a way that doesn't dox me? What if I made this its own window, and then I minimize this window? Yes. So... oh right, lol, we didn't have the background music on this scene. Let me go get that. Generic background music? Yeah, that's the one. Copy. Oh, it is here, but I just had it disabled. Okay. So this is DOSDraw. I think I have a thing for it. Yeah. It is cool. You can do things and like just draw on the screen and then save it in a very simple binary format that's almost but not quite what QBasic needs to load it instantly. And this music is quiet. So what we could do is, let's just make something. We could make a title screen. It can be janky. We don't care. Let's use cyan. And we'll do like a little title screen. This sort of art is so funny, I love it. It's nice, Dr. Yasmin. Like, I was doing some of this art initially when I found the tool in Towigia's Arch Exposition streams. And when I did STREWTH, I was like, you know what? I could use this for the game screens. And need to copy, like, we don't have a lot of like copy paste tools here. We've got to redraw it by hand, but it's cool because you've got like the constraints, you know, art through adversity. If you have some situation where like there are some limits on what you're able to do, suddenly you find yourself being a lot more creative to get around those limits. Wait, I want to make that wider. So this is like, yeah, it's pixel art, but for text mode graphics. And you can see at the bottom here, we've got the full DOS code page 437 characters available to us. And there's a few extra modes here, like you've got spray paints and gradient boxes where it will use the dot patterns. I'm just going to come up with something really crap so I can load it into QBasic, but let's have some fun with it. Like we could do like a backdrop. Yeah. Yeah, does that work? Maybe. No, like that. Whoops. And you know, you make mistakes, just the happy little accidents. Alchemical, welcome in. How are you doing? We are doing art. This has gone from Gamedev stream to art stream because I need a file to load. Maybe black square there. And there would logically be a shadow there. Alright, it's a little more three-dimensional now, yay. I think logically... Oops. Is there an undo? There is. Bless your heart, DenseQuicks. Yeah, that'll do. So now we can use the text tool. Text here. Cool. Beautiful. And what else do we want to do? There's a cool box tool. Single border, double border, yes. So we could do, like, just so we understand what the extent of the screen actually is, we'll do a little border. Yeah. Honestly, I feel like I should try and write a pull request for DensQuicks here, so we've got like a move box command, we can move things around. But I don't have the brain power for that. I only have the brain power for terrible scuffed QBasic development right now. So you can save this. And it comes as DOSimage.dat, a 400 kilobyte file, or 4,000 byte file, rather. And we'll go back to the QBasic stuff. Let's move the file into our directory here. And I want to... I'll make a directory called import, which you can't see because it's underneath the cameras right now. And I'll move my downloaded DOSDraw.dat. Why is that not auto-completing? DOSimage.dat. Okay. To import ify... Oh, got to use 8.3 names for all my files. What are we going to call this? Title. Title.dat. In fact, I'll call it .dd because that would be DOSDraw. I need to distinguish between the files I'm importing from DOSDraw and the QBasic bsave, bload files that we can access more quickly. Cool, cool. Now, need to figure out how we can load that. I think in my utility files, I already wrote something. Yeah, here we go. DOSDraw save screen. We want DOSDraw load screen. So it goes DOSDraw load screen, file name, debug. So in theory, backslashes for file paths, James, you gotta remember that. Import title.dd. And there's a debug flag which I'll say 0. Path not found. Cool. Do I have to give it full path names? That would suck. Path not found. Okay. Why? Why not found? There's a way we can drop to a shell temporarily. Yes, yes. Oh, the import directory hasn't synced. Or am I putting it in the wrong place? It's like Control F4, I think, to synchronize. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, I think the issue with DOSBox is the files that you make within DOSBox will immediately be synchronized to the host, because that's where it's saving them anyway. But if you're adding a file on the host, it doesn't always realize and synchronize it back to DOSBox. So you've got to do Control F4. So now, there we go. And it's a bit slow, as you could see. That was like real-time loading it. We're ideologically opposed to unfound paths in this stream, yes. So does this mean I could have also done it with the relative path? I think that's a yes. Okay, that fixed that thing. Yay. I'm going to move the poppy cam to point at the poppy. One moment, please. Ooh. There we go. She's on the... let's go for a close-up. She's on the sofa, upon which I have my bag that I take to work. And also, I recently got a delivery, a big cardboard box with small items inside. And for padding, what they'd done is they'd taken a couple of sheets of cardboard and they'd shredded it sort of like run it through a shredder that's turned it into what looks like, at first glance, a sort of woven mat. It's really cool. It's like soft and springy. And of course, I immediately thought, well, if I put this down somewhere, is the cat going to find this and decide that this is very comfy? And yes, cats love cardboard, and springy soft cardboard doubly so. Ooh. So let's hack in some way to load these files from the game itself. At some point I want to have like a separate game mode versus like an edit mode. And it would be nice if the edit mode had like a full-on menu system. Do I want to do that immediately? Is the question. Like, I've made little menus and things before. Yeah. Like, the trick to doing this is you got to just do a little bit at a time and make sure you have some progress that you can show off that go, yay, I did a thing. Make yourself a little git commit for it, make a checkpoint. Alright, so global keys is not it, because that's where we have the escape out of the game completely. But I feel like I want the user to be able to push F1 to like enter into the edit mode. Like you would always start in the game mode, but you'd push F1 and get to edit mode. So can we do that? Main loop? Yeah. I think I was looking up like what the things were elsewhere on like last stream, but I haven't written them down. And do I... I mean, this is what you came here, folks, for. This is Gamedev stream. This is just staring at the stream while I wonder, should I do it like this, or should I do it like this? I mean, this is our main loop. This is everything we've got right now. And actually, didn't we remove this feature? Like, the want exit thing. think we did. Because this is where we actually get to the exit menu. Yeah, this is dead code. I think it's okay, because if I put it in do global keys, you'd still be able to switch between. It's probably fine. We'll fix it if it's not. Let's say that. I'm not sure if that's the special character code for F1 yet, but let's have a look. Eto. Eto. Keys is get keys. This colon print keys. Oh, it is semicolon. How about that? So, keys. I mean, it wouldn't actually necessarily be... Would it be an edit mode, or would I have just like a menu that you go through to edit things? Yeah, alright, let's just go with a menu for now. And what does the menu exit look like? It's just a sub. Okay. So I don't want to draw a centered frame for this one. I want to draw your regular frame. How do I use draw frame? Left X, top Y, right X, bottom Y. Left X, Y. Right. So I give it two coordinates, top left, bottom right. So let's see. I still actually want to define menu width and height because I want to use those later. And top, so yeah, sure, let's just grab everything from this one. But we'll make this more narrow. We will make it much taller. Can figure out what we're actually going to put in there later. Menu top, I want to put it in the very top left actually. So draw frame, edit menu, and I might want to abstract the menu stuff later, but we need to go menu top, menu left. Now, doing everything with one indexed stuff is complicated sometimes, but we would say menu top plus menu width -1. Wait, that's left. Menu left. This would be menu top plus menu height -1. And then yeah, we've got to like add menu items, and man, am I going to have to like implement scrolling as well? That's a thing. Ooh. But for the moment, I guess we'll just manually locate, and this is row column if I'm not mistaken, so row is menu top plus 1. Column is menu left plus, let's say 2 to give it a bit of a space in the gutter. Draw text. No draw text seed, we're just going to print. And what I used to do for these sorts of things was like, we would have a menu and you could use up and down arrow keys to select something. So there would need to be a selected row concept. Like we only have the one menu option right now, so that's this one. We probably want something better than this for this menu to like restore the menu after it's like, because after we exit this menu, instead of just displaying what was there on the screen before, we would actually want like the whole scene to be redrawn, because we're going to be having the background there, we're going to have other things there. So we can't expect this menu to actually clean itself up after it exits. And we may even want it to like render itself to a background buffer and then display itself to be more faster. But we'll do this way for now. What is up and down? Type mismatch. How do you do like the numeric key for the thing? Oh, you know what? It's probably like stirs. Alright, so that's 0h, that's 0p, and enter is 13. Huh, my get keys routine doesn't have a system for me telling it that, like, you are allowed to do up and down and enter. Like, right now it's just based on anything that's representable with a single character code. So, I mean, I guess I can just do it this way, where it accepts any key. Which one's the any key? Why is it doing L cases? Oh, because of was the thing, yeah. Accepts any key, and then we're gonna have to choose. And of course, exit. I think I had this defined from... yeah. So let's see. H P is down. Selected row. You know what? Let's have a fake edit entry here that we don't know what it does yet. And we could do something like I do want to implement menu scrolling and everything, but that's probably a bit much right now. For we can do a if render row selected row. Yeah, we don't have double equals in this language, do we? That's going to be fun. Then print. And this needs to be in the loop. Menu top +1 plus, well, okay, plus render row. Is it end 4? I guess not. What is it, QBasic? These basics had such a fun selection of keywords that weren't really consistent with each other. Next. I think it's next. So we do that. And this whole thing actually needs to be in a bigger loop. This could maybe be in there, because we might want different colors in there. Here's where we might do a want exit kind of variable. No easy indentation tools here, no. We must hammer the spacebar ourselves. Process the menu. And is it wend? I think it's while end there. Okay, just for the sake of argument, I'll grab the old code from here. 0110. Just so we can see things in action, but we do want to remove it later. Copy 10, okay. So up and down, they will modify the selected row here. If it's more than one, we can reduce it. Then Decker there is a little function I wrote myself during the STREWTH game development to save my sanity, because there is no plus plus or minus minus operator in QBasic. That should do. I do kind of like the way you can have a one-line if-else statement in QBasic here. And it doesn't look like ass like it would in languages with braces. If it's less than... Okay, I've used the number 2 here twice, so I need to change this to a constant. Max rows. Where are we? Random row, 1, 2, max rows. I think that's good. What else do we want to do? Enter. We would in theory do something right here, but let's not. We'll just... I'm pretty sure I made that a function as well. Yeah. do we actually launch this menu from anywhere? Did we put it into... What is this? Oh, cool. I managed to press F2 and then F1. Look at all this cool online help. Don't get that anymore. Programs these days expect you to go online and look at their online documentation or a YouTube video. Where was I even going? Thank you for the follow, person. Follows are anonymous here. Menu edit. Was it do global keys? Yeah, there we go. So if I push F1, I should be able to get that menu. And when we're in the menu, in theory, if the code is right, which it never is the first time round, but let's try, we will render two menu options that you can choose with up and down keys, and escape will close the menu. Athena Nova, welcome in. Hello, I was getting brain fried working on a bash script. That will happen with the bash scripts. Yeah, these days, if my bash script is getting longer than like a couple of lines, write it in something else. But sometimes you don't really have an option. This new job of mine, they have like several quite massive bash scripts that are invoked for running continuous integration and things like that, or installing the app into your local dev environment. So there's a test.sh, which is 200 lines of bash that invokes all the different automated test suites. I want to change it. I want to make it more friendly to use, because at the moment, if you want to just run the unit tests, you have to declare an environment variable, group equals unit./test.sh, and it's just so clunky and difficult to use. And anyway, all of these tests take like 2 hours to run. And we want to parallelize them, but with the current system of running this clunky monolithic shell script, it's difficult to know what's going on. Okay, rant over, but like that's some of the stuff I'm dealing with at work. Like my team doesn't own it as well, so it's not like I can just go in there and fix it. I hope you're well, Athena Nova. I hope you can relax and unwind. I'm assuming it is already the weekend wherever you are. I'm writing scripts to grab radio programs on a schedule for our community radio station. Nice. The daily ones are easy to code, but the weekly ones I'm trying to learn. Almost Saturday. Good. Yeah, I'm not going to offer advice there. My brain power is limited at the moment. I've just managed to barely load some QBasic code into my head, and we'll do this for a bit. 23:54 local time. Nice. Well, I hope you can get some rest eventually and have a good weekend. Let's run this. Let's see how it goes. So here is our amazing game. It is a black screen. You can push escape to make this pop up. You can push escape to make it go away. And if we push F1... Aha! What's the chances of squeezing in a single short FTL run? We could. I don't know. Like my fever for FTL eventually wore off. Like, you know, I was very into it for a little while, and eventually I was just like, yeah, okay, I'm not getting very far with this. Maybe another day, Dr. Yasmin, I think. I want to be very, very slow and careful as I ease myself back into streaming. So we'll do a bit of derping around with QBasic today. But here we go. We've got like a little right angle bracket. Welcome back, by the way. Thank you. We've got a little right angle bracket showing that the first option is selected. We have two options. It's bleeding over the edge of the frame, but we don't care. It's just, this This is how it is at the moment. If I push down, see? Go up. Can I go up off the edge? No. Can I go down off the bottom? No. What happens if I push enter? Burp. See, this is all you need out of a game, folks. Nice. Ship it. And by ship it, I mean let's do a git commit. At least I was able to reuse old, unused computer junk for this. That's nice, Athenanova. There is way too much e-waste these days. I myself have a big box full of like old motherboards that in most cases still could run, but you know, like I ran into some problem with it and I ended up just upgrading and it's just sticking around. Let's see. What do we want to do next? I want to import the background, right? That Raspberry 1 was sitting unused, and I needed something low-powered for this simple thing. Nice. I also have a Raspberry Pi 1B, I think. And I've got the camera adapter for it, and I've been meaning to make like a little... an additional camera to capture my cat here, who is sitting up on the chair, so you can't see her face. But I have several poppy cams, and I was considering making this Raspberry Pi into sort of an infrared low light camera that we could put under the bed or in the cupboard where she likes to go sometimes, so we can have a nature documentary style infrared camera to like, and here we see the poppy cat in her native habitat, a cardboard box in the cupboard. So cool. This is janky, but let's keep the jank for the moment. Yeah, this is a 1B early one with only 256 megabytes of RAM. That used to be plenty. Could do a lot with 256 megabytes of RAM. Sounds like great reuse. Yeah, I've got... I can't show you right now because I started the stream very scuffed. But I have two dedicated old phones that are running Droidcam X that I use for the PoppyCam. And like just before stream, she was on my lap, so I installed it on my phone, and I was going to set up a third PoppyCam. But the phones are all battery-based, and they all require charging, and it would be cool if I just had a Raspberry Pi that's just plugged in and just on all the time. Yeah. Many plans to do things for the stream, all kind of interrupted by the whole employment thing. So here's a bit of functionality we want to introduce. Import. We want to import a background image. And eventually we will save it to whatever the current scene is. We don't even have a concept of current scene yet. But to do this, we would want to have a file selection dialog. This could be fun. Now, QBasic functions can't return strings, but you can have a subroutine that modifies a string as a side effect. So what we might do is selected file names is da. We're big fans of selecting files in this community, yes. Proper path names, selected files, all for it. We could write a subroutine called choose file, and we give it an ask, like a title. I bet STRDROP hasn't selected a file in a long time. Yeah, where is STRDROP? In any scene that we switch to in OBS, people should be asking, where's STRDROP? Choose file. And we give it this as a return parameter. Selected file names. And I'll probably make it so that if this file name comes back empty, then that means they haven't done anything. They've picked an invalid file or whatever. So if selected file names, then else we import the file. DOSDraw load screen selected. No, the dollar doesn't appear at the start, Nico. That's Perl. Selected file names. There. I like burp. I have a variable called barf in the script if it fails to download, yes. Proper naming is important. We have to amuse ourselves. So this looks great, except for the fact that we haven't actually implemented the choose file subroutine. And I kind of feel like, because we ran into this problem when we were developing STREWTH, it's easy to run out of memory for your program code in QBasic. So you want to split it up into several different modules in their parlance. Do we want to make a dialogues module that could reference these other ones, but it would focus on all of the code that's just like show a dialog box with a thing and a file selector, blah 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 blah. I mean, I guess we could also put it in file IO, but that's like just the pure file editing stuff. Gunningstan, hello! I hope you're well today. I'm doing alright. I feel a little bit scuffed, but not so scuffed that I'm just dead to the world and I can't possibly stream. Yeah. How are you? Hope you're well. Koenigstan, by the way, is also retro game dev and has many very cool CGA games that they've developed. So here we're doing slightly more advanced. We're doing EGA text mode. Like, so far I've got like a title screen for the game. Oh yeah, okay. QBasic won't let you do shit if you've got a syntax error anywhere. Ta-da! Isn't it amazing? But yeah, maybe I want to split this out into a module because we need to be very careful, and I should probably be trying to compile this at some point just because that's where we run into the problems. Doing well, thanks. I woke up stupidly early, so I managed to catch stream. Yay! Well, glad to have you here. This is not going to be like a particularly high energy stream. This is me using my limited brain reserves to poke around with some QBasic. And we've got 3 months for the DOSember game jam. That may need we may need that enormous buffer time, because I'm only doing this here and there, bit by bit. But the idea is I have the ability to import DOSDraw files from DensQuix's DOSDraw tool. And I have some other code left over from my previous game. I could cobble the two together to make a EGA text mode PowerPoint-like presentation tool that lets you transition between screens and turn that into an interactive fiction tool that people can make little interactive fiction games in DOS. A high-energy NecoStream. I can't imagine it, but wouldn't that be something? Yeah. One of these days, Dr. Yasmin, one of these days. So how do you do the modules shit in QBasic? We need a include file. I remember that. Alt-F. We can create file. Yeah. Well, that's dialogue, but I want dialogue. Maybe I want UI. Yeah, let's call it UI.bass. And let's see, how does this work? We need to include our own .bi file. It's not really set up super intuitively. Yeah. So rem include blah 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 blah. This is just next to utils. Rem include UI.bi. And then we need to make that file. Cool. And this is where we would put our declarations. Except that we haven't got any actual subroutines yet. So let's make a very simple subchoose file. Title. Do I need to put it in brackets when I'm in parentheses when I'm doing this? Okay, fine, I guess I do. So this can be just a no-op for now. Save modified include files first, yes. File already exists. Overwrite. I don't know what you want to overwrite, QBasic, but I've got everything in Git, so I guess it's safe. So there's UI.bass, includes that. There's UI.bi, it doesn't have that. Why not? What is going on? Okay, UI.bi is empty, so sure, save it now. And we will declare sub choose file titles or file names in here. I'm not a high energy viewer right now, so that suits me well. I used to write a lot in QuickBasic before I moved over to C. Yeah, I got started... Technically I got started on BBC Basic for the BBC Micro. absolutely kick-ass basic. The computer came with a ring-bound manual, which included like every basic keyword they've got in there, often with a little example program to illustrate how you would do a for loop. So good. And then when I got an IBM compatible PC, I got into QBasic, because of course you got QBasic for free with DOS 6 point whatever. And that was cool. I didn't really get into C. I mean, I had Borland Turbo C++ for Windows. I think I was on Windows 95 by that point. But I didn't really get it. It wasn't really until university and GCC that I actually properly understood C and all that stuff. Programming languages. So does this work? What we could do is... Why has QBasic decided to just open... Because I probably did the wrong menu. If I load this, I think it will... Yeah, it loads all of the other stuff. Cool. Couldn't use 6502 calls, of course, being a Z80. Oh, I started on AppleSoft Basic at school and Smart Basic for the Coleco Atom. Had a different CPU, but they copied all the AppleSoft graphics commands. Cool. I was not really able to interact with all of the the Apple stuff, or I don't think we had Coleco in the UK. But yeah, 6502 calls. BBC Basic let you just do assembly straight up in the middle of your basic program. That was mind-blowing and beyond my capabilities when I was young and tinkering around with BBC. I actually did manage to jam in a tiny little bit of assembly here for my quick basic stuff. I have a halt and catch fire subroutine that does the DOS kill program assembly, basically. Those BBC micros sure were something. Yeah, they were. BBC Micro was super popular in schools there. Apple II was super popular in US schools, yeah. BBC blew Apple out of the water, but it was a newer machine. True. Lecturer gave me Quick Basic at college. It's the same interface as QBasic, but with a compile to exe option. Yeah, I'm using Quick Basic here, Kidding Stan. I'm actually using... Does it tell us in help? Contents? QBX. Doesn't really have an about thing, does it? But this is 7 QBX or Quick Basic 7. It is good. Can make EXEs. So let's see. Where am I? I've got my BAS file here. We can include our new module. That should let us call our new function. I got in QBasic and QuickBasic a lot too. It was easy coming from Microsoft Basic for the Amiga. I didn't even know Microsoft made a Basic for the Amiga, but yeah, Microsoft was originally just a utility software company that made, things like Word for the Apple and things like that. I missed out on a lot of that era of Microsoft. So the edit menu can call choose file now, theoretically. It will still do nothing, but it will do nothing in a more complicated way. And in the end, isn't that what a lot of programming is all about? So if I push F2 on here, yep, I can find choose file in our new UI.bas. If I do a beep here as well, oh wait, this is, it's not going to be able to find boop here if we ended up compiling this, because boop is defined in utils.bas. So I need to go to, oh, this is complicated. I need to go and grab these two includes, and then go to UI.bas, and just include those extra ones. I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong. Let's just try it. That was the first, it was, let's call it a media, hang on, I'm losing track with chat. That help system is how I learned Quick Basic, along with some GW Basic and Amiga Basic knowledge. Amiga Basic was similar to Quick Basic. Same. The online help in Quick Basic or QBasic is pretty amazing. You can just push F1 on any keyword and it will tell you what it does and how to use it. I just called Amiga Basic. It replaced A Basic that was in Amiga DOS 1.0. That was the first basic I used that didn't need line numbers. Ah, yes. Yeah, QBasic was the first one I used that didn't need line numbers. So what was it doing? F1. This one doesn't do anything. Although I hear... Yeah, that's right. I made it so both of these menu options, they both call choose file. It doesn't actually matter which line I'm on. Let's fix that. So enter should actually choose based on what your selected row is. And we're getting a bit nested here, but I'm just going to run with it and I can refactor the code later. So then case 2, so that should work better. So you can hear that this one is trying to run the choose file command, and this one is not. Let's add that to Git, shall we? Status. Originated in Scion's OPL, which is reminiscent of QuickBasic, but better in some ways. It had better graphics support and allowed use of UI elements like menus and dialog boxes. Sweet. So, we're getting up to this point now where we need to be able to get text input from the user. It might be nice to have a full-on file browser, but I don't think we can do that. I think we'd have to actually ask them to type in the file name. Maybe what we would do is have a thingy. Words are hard right now. We would have a frame get displayed. And maybe we'll just do that centered on the screen, I don't know. And we would let the user enter in arbitrary text. So we kind of need like a little line editor. I think I kind of made something similar for STREWTH, because we can enter in the player names. So maybe what I'll do is I'll just fire up STREWTH for a moment, which I have a copy of in this DOSBox. And we'll see how I did it in this one. Because it was just a very basic line editing tool. I don't think you could even... Oh, you might have been able to edit mid-line. We'll see. Hell, should we take a little break here and run a game of STREWTH just to show off my game from the previous year's DOSember, well, not DOSember, it was just the DOS 2024 Game Jam. It might inspire us for doing some more on this game. So let's play. Oh yeah, look, I have a line input here, and I can change mid line, and I can backspace. That's kind of what we want for a basic text input. I love those anti-graphics, remind me of BBS's. Yeah, it's all of the main big screens in this game, I don't know if I've mentioned. I've made them with a tool called DOSDraw, which is by Den's Quicks, member of the retro community here. So it's kind of like an old DOS program called The Draw, but it's entirely in a web browser. So it's nice, and it lets you just generate these files, which are 4 kilobytes of data that you can load into your VGA memory or EGA memory and get stuff. New, so I didn't know. Cool beans, yeah. So I'm going to name everyone after chat, unless if you have serious objections to being a potential murder victim or murder suspect, let me know now. We've got Mr. Sinks. We've got Dr. Yasman. Oh, nice. It wasn't me. We don't know yet. Who else? Dan. I used something called The Draw before, but it has been years ago. Yeah, it's same idea, basically. Who else is in chat? We got any people who want to join in with the murder mystery? Alchemical was here. Capital M. I think that's everyone so far. So we can just have go here. A murder mystery, yes. This game I made for the previous year's DOS Game Jam. I based it on another game called Sleuth. Here. So there's a game, written ages and ages ago called Sleuth that Galara Dragon often plays, where you go around a little house and solve a murder mystery. And I wanted to make a similar game, only I've made it a bit more Australian. Who do we want to include? Robot Michael. Put STRWTH in. Yeah, let's do that. So I wanted to make a little kind of randomized roguelike mansion room instead of the fixed layout that STREWTH has. So a lot of my focus for the game dev was on this. And you can move your little guy around. And there's a police constable in the corner that you can talk to. Ah, hello, Detective Poppy, is it? Hi, I'm the constable assigned to help you. Bit of a mess, all this. Let me know if you need any help. I'll be watching the door here. If you manage to solve the murder, come to me and I'll help gather everyone up. What happened? Well, all we know is Athena Nova was having a few mates over for a party. The guests, they were hanging out here in the house. Then a few hours ago, someone finds Athena Nova dead as a doornail. That's when they called the police, and the superintendent called for you to come investigate the situation. I have bad news, Athena Nova. More Australian. Is that like, who gave the victim the poisoned meat pie at the footy match? Yeah, well, I've got a few, like, items, and people swear a bit more than they would in an American game. But yeah, it seems like you are the murder victim. Sorry. Name's Athena Nova. The body's been left as is. We don't know what was used to do the deed, though. You'll need to figure it out if we want to be sure of a conviction. I'm not dead yet. Who are the suspects? All the guests are accounted for. I'll keep anyone from leaving. Let you do your job of interviewing each suspect. Establish alibis and whatever you need to do. So if we press G for gather, we would gather all the suspects in the accusing parlor to do the accusation. Unlike STREWTH, you don't have to figure out what room was the murder was committed in. I just, I didn't have time to add that to a sort of thing. And also, it's usually kind of obvious because there's a body in there, right? At least I'm not the criminal, I guess, yeah. So here you can see there's a double bang character in the corner. We can look. You're in a long corridor with wooden floorboards and paneling on the sides. A pair of thongs are in the corner. A police constable stands by the door. Aha, so perhaps we can get thongs. You pick up the thongs. We have an inventory. And this is the kind of menu I want to reproduce with the new game. We've got a notebook. You examine the notebook. It's your detective notebook, which you keep notes about the case in. You can examine the thongs. You examine the thongs. They're cheap plastic thongs. The only things these could kill would be a bug. That layout looks roguelike. It is, yeah. I set it up basically so that you have a single main room, and then we grow a number of smaller rooms off the side that should logically connect to the main room. And here on the left, you can actually see there's two side rooms coming off of that room. So it usually makes something that's more or less believable as a house layout, if a bit weird and random. Let's go here. You leave the corridor. You enter a luxurious lounge room. Comfortable seating is abundant. Small tables hold glassware, and the carpet is warm and comfortable. There is a large leather sofa here. There is a fly swatter on a table. The murder victim is here. Ooh. Shall we talk with the murder victim? There's nobody to talk to. Oh. Can we look? The lounge is a perfect place to relax and unwind, with many comfortable seats and a thick carpet. There's a large leather sofa here. There is a fly swatter on a table. The murder victim is here. Can we examine Athena Nova? You examine the victim. They're definitely dead. I did originally have this idea that you could examine the murder victim to find out, like, were they hit with a blunt object, or were they stabbed, or whatever. But that didn't make it into the final game. I only did, like, this game in about a month and a bit worth of game dev. And that was when I was unemployed, so I had lots of time I could sink into this. I'm just taking an eternal rest, yeah. Let's get the fly swatter. This could be the murder implement, right? You examine the fly swatter. It is a plain plastic implement used to attack flies. It is unlikely to be the murder weapon, as the victim is not a fly. Can we look at... Oh, that's right. Examine for objects. Examine the leather sofa. You examine the leather sofa. The sofa shows some wear and tear, but it is very comfortable. You find nothing of interest in the leather sofa, so you can actually find items within furniture objects. You leave the lounge. You enter a small study room. Dust covers shelves that have not seen much use. The room has a plain wooden desk for writing on. A golf club leans against the wall. There is a lamp on a small side table. Königstein is here. Ah. So let's get that golf club. And there's also a lamp. Should we examine the lamp? You examine the lamp. A classic banker's lamp with a green shade. It is quite heavy. We could examine the desk. You examine the desk. The desk has a few rough edges and the drawers stick a little. You find nothing of interest in the desk. Let's talk with Königstein. Ah, fuck off, not the fucking cops. Leave us alone, will ya? What's your alibi, Königstein? I didn't like Athena Nova, but that's no reason to kill him. I was in the library looking through Athena Nova's collection. Alchemical can tell you, they were there with me. Alright. So Königstein was in the library with Alchemical. And this is the basis of the game. You have to interview everyone and find out who's lying. In the original Sleuth, you also kind of have a time limit, because the murderer will eventually start to be suspicious of you and try to knock you off as well. But again, this was a Game Jam game, so there is no time limit. You can just take your time and eventually figure it out. You can make a false accusation, and that will be the bad end. But, you know, given enough time, you can figure out who did it. Oh yes, that sounds just like me, definitely, right? You leave the lounge. Candles provide soft lighting in the spa, and soft warm towels are piled up everywhere. A hot tub is here. Shall we look under the towels? Oh, there's just the hot tub. You examine the hot tub. The hot tub is filled and warm. So those towels were just flavor text, but I think I did add an actual towels object somewhere. Let's look in the kitchen. You leave the corridor. Here is a kitchen with many countertops and cupboards. A refrigerator makes a low hum. A sink for washing dishes is built into the counter. A bottle of wine rests on the counter. A frying pan hangs from a hook on the wall. A fruit bowl sits on the table. So I want to examine the fridge, because you can find something. Ah, inside is a fresh fish. Inside is a fresh fish. Let's get that fish. And let's get the frying pan too. But there's no one here, so let's move on. We need to find out who's done it, not just with what. You leave the corridor. You step into what must be the master bedroom. A small wooden bedside table is here. A large four-poster bed is against the wall, and in front of it is a thick rug. Robot Neko is here. Let's talk with Robot Neko. Hello. You're that detective, are you? Detective Poppy. They told us you were coming. Who gives a shit what any of us were up to? You really want to know, you nosy asshole. Come on, what's your alibi? Can't help you much, copper. I don't know anything about it. I was having an argument, not with Athena Nova, with Dr. Yasmin, in the small study. Okay. Robot Neko, small study, Dr. Yasmin. Where's this? You leave the corridor. You enter a wood-panelled room that is dimly lit. Several tables and chairs are present, with various board games set up on them. A chessboard is built into a small table. There is a paperweight here. An orange cat is wandering around. Talk cat. Meow. 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 Can pat? Meow. What's your alibi, cat? Well, it's pretty ironclad. Let's get that paperweight, because that could be a murder weapon. And the thing with this, like the game, is it mimics what Sleuth does, where you can look at stuff, like the paperweight, but until you have your magnifying glass, you can't actually identify what the murder weapon is. So we get some flavor text here. This paperweight is mostly spherical and made out of glass. An interesting leaf-life pattern is visible within. But we need to find our magnifying glass before we can identify the murder weapon. You leave the corridor. You enter a bedroom with stark furnishings. This must be a bedroom for guests to use. A double bed is against the wall. There's a magnifying glass here, score. A clay statuette rests on a table. Mr. Sinks is here. Alchemical is here. Cool. Well, first of all, let's get that magnifying glass. And now we can have a look at some of these items again. Probably not the thongs or the fly swatter, but let's have a look at the golf club. Oh! Lucky, first time. You examine the golf club. It is a 4-iron and quite hefty. There are traces of blood on it. This must be the murder weapon. Look at the fish. Examine the fish. On closer inspection, this is a red herring. You examine the frying pan. This pan is clearly cast iron, judging by the heft of it. Can we examine the magnifying glass? You examine the magnifying glass. It's a large magnifying glass, perfect to closely examine objects with. You can use this to find the murder weapon. And we know it's the golf club, which is very lucky. We don't have to go back and go through all of those other items. Who should we talk to first? Alchemical was allegedly with Koningstown, was it? Ah, fuck off, not the fucking cops. Leave us alone, will you? There's not too much variation in the dialogue, unfortunately. I didn't have a whole lot of time to add a bunch of extra variants. It serves its purpose. Can't help you much, copper. Don't know anything about it. I was in the gaming room the whole time, mostly playing chess with James Necco. STREWTH expansion pack went, I don't know. I'm working on this other game already. Just give me time, man. But this is interesting. Alchemical's account of things differs from Koningstand's. We don't know who is lying yet. But Alchemical says they were playing chess with James Necco. I don't know if we can trust that guy, but if we find him, we'll ask. And Mr. Sinks is also here. Hello, you're that detective, are you? Detective Puppy? They told us you were coming. Look, I don't have anything against you, but maybe it's none of your business, mate. Mate? I didn't kill Athena Nova. Don't know who done it, but... Look, Copper, it wasn't me, and it wasn't StarDrop Thistledown, okay? We were both in the guest bedroom at the time. Just don't fucking ask anything else, alright? Alright, jeez. Oops. I don't have a way to go back through the scroll back, unfortunately. A large mahogany dining table is in the center of the room. A cupboard for holding plates and cutlery in the corner. James Necco is here. StarDrop Thistledown is here. Aha. Let's talk to this suspicious character. Hello, you're that detective, are you? Detective Poppy. They told us you were coming. Can't help you much, Copper. I don't know anything about it. I was in the gaming room the whole time, mostly playing chess with Alchemical. That checks out. Alchemical's alibi is sound. And we can ask him again. I told you already, I was in the gaming room the whole time. Chess, Alchemical. Let's talk with StarDrop. Ah, fuck off, not the fucking cops. Leave it alone, will ya? Yeah, that's StarDrop. That's StarDrop to a T. What's it to you, mate? I don't have to tell you shit. Uh-huh. Can't help you much, Copper. Don't know anything about it. Look, Copper, it wasn't me and it wasn't Mr. Sinks. We were both in the guest bedroom. Just don't fucking ask anything else, right? Right, so StarDrop and Sinks also have alibis. So it sounds like Koningstown was lying to us. Because I think Koningstown said they were somewhere with Alchemical. If you had more time, the gender marker would be nice in the dialogue. Well, I mean, you know, you're talking... sorry, I'm losing my ability to human speech. At the start of the game, you can enter in all the names of the suspects, and you're not necessarily identifying any particular gender. So, I think... Yeah, hang on, let's escape. Was there... I don't think there was gender dialogue in that conversation there. I hope I was fairly consistent in keeping no specific... What do you want now, cunt? Wasn't me. We were both in the guest room. Don't fucking ask. Wasn't Mr. Sinks. Yeah, I mean, Mr. Sinks is part of Mr. Sinks's name, but there's no actual gender markers because there's no gender recorded. Yeah, I used them. I think an earlier dialogue said I didn't kill him. I mean, I might have... I'm not sure. I will check later on, because I've got all of the different text options in a big file. But hopefully I've left it non-specific gender. Don't worry about it, this is impressive. Thank you. So let's talk about this Koenigsegg character, huh? Yeah, what now? You solved the case. Good for yous. Get on with it then and leave us in peace. What was your alibi? We went through this already. I was in the library, looking through Athena Nova's collection. Alchemical can tell you they were there with me. Well, interesting. We can go back to talk to our little detective pal here. A constable pal. Yeah. Hello again, Detective Poppy. Can I help you? Did you figure out who the killer is? Yes. Let's gather the suspects. Are you ready, Detective Poppy? Say the word, and I'll drag all these fuckers into the room where the murder was committed. Then you can show us the murder weapon and confront the killer. Ready? Yes. Alright, let's go. Here we are. We just have the one menu option here. Accuse! So we are going to accuse Koenigsegg. And what was the murder weapon? The golf club. You actually do have to bring the item with you. You display the murder weapon, the golf club. Koenigsegg sits there, seething. Suddenly, they lunge towards you, but are restrained by the constable. Damn you! Damn you all! Yes, I did it! Well done, Detective. I would have gotten away with it, if it weren't for you. With that, they slump, defeated, and allow you to escort them to the station. Well done, you win. Your score was, 6. Told you it wasn't me. I should have believed you, Dr. Yasmin. Which one's the any key? Mansion killer found guilty in court, thanks to famous detective's insight. Local cat's dinner late, claims cat. GG. So yeah, like this particular screen here, the newspaper, that I did in DOSDraw, and I basically just imported it into the game. And I use QBasic's bsave and bload to load it more quickly than my own terrible for loop. So let's have a look at the code. I am feeling like I'm running out of steam a little bit, but let's see if we can get that line editing tool that I made for STREWTH into our new game. Just copy paste things. That's really what programming is all about. Where do you suppose I would have put that? It would have been a menu. Init names. What's this all about? like I've got a bunch of loop functions here, which is just like processing the main game loop, the how-to screen and what have you. So it could be part of menu, oh, naming loop. Here we go. So there's always 8 suspects. And there's some palette setting that I did, because the DOSDraw tool assumes you're using the EGA palette that has a bright yellow and a dark yellow. But of course, EGA, sometimes the dark yellow is overridden to be a brown color. And that's sometimes quite nice. And eventually I added a whole bunch of extra custom palette options too. So here we're loading that new game screen with the chalk outline in the background. Now, how was I doing? Draw text entry. Hello, that looks good. Name, blah blah, your name, selected, NPC name data 0, current pos, max name lim. And then it draws text entry for the other names. And it's pulling that out of this NPC name data array. I love this particular Tyrion background music, by the way. The menu music. Tyrion 2000's got such good music. So then we draw the button. And then yes, redraw the selected text entry, because we had several of them last, so it can control the cursor position. So that's just kind of a special case. It seems like draw text entry will leave the cursor at a particular point, which is good. And then we get the key. Up and down are overridden to change which thing is selected. Enter either does buttons or it goes to the next name. Control Enter launches the game straight away. Random. Aha, there we go. So we've got draw text entry, and we've got a do text entry key as well. So we've got 2 different subroutines we want to pull out. So let's have a look at how they work. The drawing one first, I guess. And we'll want to also wrap this with one of those frames that we've got. But we'll just do this for now. We're giving it an index. I think this is because yeah, there you go. You've got like an arrow symbol for got like an arrow symbol for whether it's the selected menu entry or not. In our case, for asking for a file name, we don't need that. But this is fine, because we can reuse the code and we'll just say this is not the selected entry, it's fine. Locate, label text. If it's selected, yeah, selected also changes what color it is. And it does so in a hard-coded way, which I'm surprised at. But that's fine. We'll port this as is, and we can fix it up later if we want to. Locate. Right. So yeah, I want to copy this because it's done all of this complicated cursor position maths for us already. And how about do text entry key. There it is. So this does valid characters. It checks what the key is. It's expecting something else to be actually getting the key. Goes left and right. Cool, okay. Now I just need a way to copy these out of this program and into my other program. And I feel like I'm not going to try and do that within QuickBasic, because I would have to copy this, load the other one, paste it, save it, load this one again, copy, reload, paste, save. It's a mess. I have a terminal window elsewhere where I can just do this myself. I just need to find do text entry key and draw text entry. So let's see. I guess might be able to show you part of the window. STREWTH. Grep. No, I'll do it with bled actually. Do text entry key. Sorry, it's a bit small text, but this is my ancient text editor I wrote in uni, and I made it so it had similar properties to the QuickBasic editor in that you can press F2 and get a big list of all of the subroutines. Draw text entry. There we are. So draw text entry, we copy that. And we need to open iffy UI.bas. We need to read. What do you think The Guardian's favorite programming language would be? The Guardian... He likes control. He likes to have his finger in all of the pies. Which Guardian? The Guardian, Athena Nova. We are all Ultima nerds here, or many of us are Ultima nerds here. So the Guardian of Ultima 7 onwards. Big red Muppet face. I've forgotten my sound commands.
Are you sure? Think again.
So not the newspaper then. Well, we don't know for sure, Koenigstan. Like, who owns The Guardian, really? Like, it would be just like The Guardian to secretly control a newspaper publication called The Guardian and just have it full out on display, like, oh, look, Avatar, look at this independent publishing that happens to have the name The Guardian. I'm sure it doesn't have anything to do with me. Ho 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 ho. I was thinking Doctor Who Light and Dark Guardians. I haven't kept up with Doctor Who. I should. Okay, so that's draw text entry copied over. And I need to copy do text entry key. There it is. Probably will be copying a lot more stuff out of STREWTH, but for now this will do. So I'll save that. I will go back to DOSBox, Control F4, oh, yeah. Right, so it's in there now. Hark, is that the sweet sound of lamentation I hear? Yes. At this very moment, Britannia burns. It was very cool to have the Guardian just taunting you, like the whole time while you're playing. Like, you can't really do anything about it. And sometimes he was clearly making shit up. Like, you get back to Britannia and it wasn't burning that much. I am rapidly running out of brain power today, so let's just clean this up a bit and get this thing working. I guess I'm surprised I lasted 2 hours at all, really, considering how low on mana I have been lately. But here we go, UI.bas. We've now got these two in here. If we want to be able to use them in other files, though, we have to add them to the .bi file, which we haven't opened. I don't know why it doesn't open it, or like if there's like a way you can tell it, hey, I want to use this .bi file to hold all my declarations. It just doesn't seem to function consistently. But we'll do that and do draw text entry. I wonder if we could combine these somehow, because we know that we're going to be drawing text entry and handling the keys. I suppose that would be in choose file. Yeah. All right. His taunts get a little repetitious, but it was fun back then, yeah. Britannia was basically fine. I think, yeah, with the Avatar's absence, Britannia was actually doing pretty good. Things were going great. They got medals. So this is how we use do text entry key, draw text entry. I wonder if I want to rename these. Like, that was my old naming style for STREWTH, where a lot of stuff is like do this or draw this. We do have draw frame, yeah. I feel like I just want to maybe drop the do, because, I mean, you're making a subroutine, it's always going to be doing something, right? Or should we make it like handle text entry? Oh, but that's right, I used do because there is a limit on how long your function names can be. Input text entry? Input text entry. Input. And that hasn't actually renamed it here. We need to rename it here as well. Did I just hear a meow? I think I did. Hello. I think Poppy was lamenting. I'm not a big fan of Ultima 9, but the others were fun. What's a paladin? That was harsh. What do you mean? I have no idea.
What's a paladin?
So let's fix this code up, and then I can feed the kitty, and then I can just dump brain and be a useless blob for the rest of the day, the rest of the week. And so how do I use this? Input text entry, valence, blah 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 blah. Stir ref, stir max, current pos ref. Yeah. I mean, his friend was a paladin, and he gave his life to save others. Yeah, like of the starting sequence for Ultima 9, depending on your answers, you can literally choose to be a paladin. I hear biscuits being eaten. That's good. Bobby's been a bit fussy lately when it comes to eating dry food, because wet food is awesome. But it's good that she is occasionally deciding, well, okay, I guess it's around. I guess I'll eat some of this. If we go to choose file, we could... You need to eat to regain strength. Yes. We could draw text entry. And I guess we would do the same kind of menu top, menu left, what have you. Yes, yes, yes. Quick Basic is occasionally annoying when it won't let you have a line that isn't perfectly formatted yet. That's illegal syntax. Const menu top. Let's just make it 5, 5. Like, I don't want to try and center things right now. Const menu left. 40, sure. Label color and text color. I don't even know what we would use for that. Let's use... In fact, it's for this, it's just going to be the text color. So let's... 7, sure. So we'll change this to be text color. This is the actual text color. Menu top plus 1. Wait, no, that's left plus 1. Menu top plus 1. I'm gonna get like inconsistency problems when I have like some functions that are using X and Y coordinates and some functions that are using row and column. I will make it legal. Okay, enough with the quotes. Yes. It wouldn't be so bad if it was just like highlighting a invalid syntax row in red or something, but it always pops up that dialogue that says, hold on, hold on.
What's a paladin?
You've made a mistake here, programmer. Did you notice you've made a mistake here, programmer? Label text string. So label text string, that's not the actual Yeah, okay, so we'll... Label text string will be something like... Prakakapur, welcome in. Hey man, nostalgia just hit me. Thank you. How are you doing? Please let me know if I am not saying your name correctly. Prakakapur. And I shall correct myself. Variable named stardrop when. Indeed, yes, we could put a little Easter egg here into there, couldn't we? Selected. So we want selected to actually always be on for this. So we could actually just go like... By the way, which IDE is this? This is Quick Basic. So this is Quick Basic 7, sometimes known as QBX. It's very cool. Like, you've got multiple files that can be opened at a time, unlike QBasic. And it will tell you where all of your subroutines are defined in and things like that. And it's got online help, so if I want to understand what on earth const is, I just press F1, and it will say const. Constant name is expression, blah 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 blah. It's very cool, and I was able to learn QBasic just based on the online help that's available in the editor back in the day. Text color is 7. Label text. Index. So if index is equal to selected, then it will highlight it, I think. But we don't care for this particular situation, so drop when. STREWTH is going to be the file names. Meow. Yeah, I'm sorry, Poppy. Sorry. Gonna have to wait a little bit longer and I'll give you some wet food. Oh, and I've got a really itchy foot. So, our file names is the sort of return value file name that we're gonna give back to whoever called choose file. So we would start off by setting it... Really? Setting it to the empty string. Or do we need to? No, we will say the caller has already done that for us. So we will actually just be giving that to here. Hi. Meow, yes. Kerpos, we will have to define ourselves. Is Len? I think that's correct. Yeah. Are you running DOS in a VM? This is DOSBox. Specifically, this is DOSBox staging. Do I have a DOSBox command? No, I do not. Maybe I should add one. But yeah, DOSBox, pretty common way to run all sorts of DOS games and applications. Hey, I wanted to use Python too, but with the same retro theme. Can you please guide me how? We like stages in this community. So, Prakakapur, I'm developing this in a DOS environment. So if I save... yes. Actually, you know what? If I run a DOS shell... So this is what I'm in. Like, this is emulating the old DOS operating system here. I don't know if anyone has ported Python to DOS. Probably some people will have tried. And I know that you can run Python on microcontrollers now. You've got CircuitPython and MicroPython. I've actually used that for some of my projects. But I don't off the top of my head actually know if you can get a sort of miniature Python made for DOS. If you could, then you would be able to use something similar to this to edit your files. For example, man, my foot is itchy. I need to fix that. If we type the license file here, that's like the contents of this license file. But you can use QBasic. Let's see. Dot QB45 QBXE /edit. So if you ever did use DOS, there used to be a DOSedit.com, and edit.com was actually just calling QBasic with this /edit flag. So you could then go edit license, leave command. Ugh, okay. C QB45 QBXE. No, that did not do anything. Anyway, okay, why is nothing running now? That's weird. I broke something. You could then use that to edit your Python files, is what I was saying. I looked for that. Python for MS-DOS, Python 2.4-.2 for DOS DPMI, built on DGPP, is also available. Cool. That's some proper retro programming there, Python 2. Let me see if I can get this working again. I'll just exit. Oh, of course, because I was already in QBasic. Jeez, that makes sense. Maybe not enough memory in the shell. No, I was inceptioning myself. I already had this open. You shouldn't try to run QBasic within QBasic. Give me a moment, Poppy. Don't be a grumpy kitty. Yeah? Yeah, that's it. Just wait there. I would get up and pick up the Poppy cam and move it here so you could see Poppy. But if I get up out of my chair right now, Poppy will assume that we are getting up to give her food. So let's just hold on here. Finish this up. And then I will end the stream, and I will feed the cat and then end the stream. This isn't quarterdeck desk view. Oh, foot is itchy. So we draw the text entry box, blah, 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 blah. That should all work as intended originally. Stir max. What is stir max? We're going to need to find out. Like, stir max is however... there we go. File name max. So if we call that in a loop, we'll be drawing the text entry. And then we want to handle a key. So we go keys... get keys. And what did I end up calling it? Oh, I do have a do global keys there. Okay. Input text entry. So how do we call this? Input text entry. Keys. Stir refs is our file name. Current pos ref is just current pos. Stir max is file name max. file name max. And we do this in a loop until we either get an enter or an escape, I suppose. Now you know what, we can do it with exit sub. So is true? I don't know if true is a thing in Quick Basic. I think people ended up defining their own constants for that stuff. And I guess if you push enter, you're also exiting the subroutine. Maybe if you push escape, we will zero out the file name. And for everything else, there's MasterCard, not sponsored. Does that look good? What does input text entry handle, actually? Okay, it's already handling enter and escape. But that's fine. It only wants to handle, like, text input characters. Backspace, left and right. Meow. Yeah, I don't know if you're hearing that, chat, but Poppy has a hungry. So we were already choosing file from our code before, so in theory, if we run this now, this should just work. No. Array not defined. UIBAS entity by ID. Did I accidentally copy some extra stuff I didn't want to copy? Yeah, I did. I accidentally copied some stuff from STREWTH. Okay. Delete. No. Delete. Delete procedure from module, yes. And in UI.bi we do have those, yeah, cool. Try this. So escape works as before. White UI, hello, good to see you, friend. How are you doing? I'm kind of on the tail end of the stream here, I gotta admit. Running very low on mana. Poppy has a hungry, but I did a stream. Hooray! This is already progress based on how frickin' tired I've been with the new job. Yes, so F1 is the new menu. This menu option doesn't do anything. Doing alright, glad I made it. I'm glad to see you here. Import background. Aha! Now it doesn't have like a fancy frame or anything, but there you go, that's the thing straight out of STREWTH. So can we import... Oh, it was, yep, look, we can edit. Okay, left and right aren't working, I think. Okay, that's interesting. Left and right aren't working, but backspace does work. That's good. Import title.DOSDraw. Hey, it actually worked. Check that out. We loaded a file by typing in its name. And now our menu is cyan. Iffy! And I suppose if we give it some completely nonsense file like UI.bi, Yeah, cool. You can actually load that as if it were a DOSDraw file. Can we load ify.mac? Didn't do anything. What if I make up a file completely like it doesn't exist? Okay, that's interesting. If I give it a file name that doesn't exist, it doesn't break. It just doesn't do anything. Yeah, yes. But yeah, you know what? That will suffice. I will commit that. Wait, I'm in the wrong directory. Oh, I haven't pushed this to remote yet. I really ought to do that. I'll do that off stream. Setting up things like Bitbucket repositories is not glamorous, and we have a hungry cat to feed. Shall we feed the hungry cat before I go offline? I'll go get the camera. Need to refill her biscuits box. Oh, we've redeemed Bother Cat for 2,000 gold coins. Yes, let's do that. How about... I mean, she's just been fed. She's just been fed some delicious biscuits with some powder on it. Hydrate. Okay, fine. Just hang on about. Let's get Poppy to say hi to chat for a little bit. I can't even tell if these are on or not. Oh, they are. Just barely. She's drinking water right now. I'm not going to pick her up while she's drinking water. Okay. I'm just going to bother you slightly, Poppy. Here we are. You is the little baby. You being bothered, Poppy? Hmm? I'm sorry to bother you like this. I'm sorry to bother you like this. But you are a little baby. And sometimes when you're whinging for food over and over and over and over again, I feel like a whingy baby deserves to be treated like a little baby. Yes? Yes. These days she's a little bit better at being picked up. She was having none of it when I first got her. But these days she realizes I'm not really trying to deprive her of her freedom of movement. I'll let her look out the window or something like that. Yeah? It's not too bad, is it? It's not too bad. Thank you everyone for coming by to my stream today. It means a lot to me that I can still do this occasionally. Maybe not so regularly, but just like, okay, we're gone. Sorry. I'm sorry. Would you like more treats to accommodate? Yeah, streaming, such as it is at the moment, with my full-time job completely wrecking me, will just be on a very random schedule at the moment, and no particular plan. I have 3 cats. I'm glad I found you. I'm glad you found me too. Thank you for being here. Cats. Cats are nice. So, yeah. Honestly don't know if we'll be able to have this game in any kind of polished situation for the DOSember, like the end of December, but we'll give it a go. Like, you know, it's not the point to try and come up with something amazing and polished or anything. Emmy wouldn't endorse that. No, just make something. Make something even if it's crappy. Let me have a look around, see who's on. Ooh. I know your mom is on. Yes, Dr. Yasmin. I was thinking about raiding them earlier. But I do notice that Ghoulbabe is on. And I never get to raid Ghoulbabe. And she's playing Leisure Suit Larry 3, which was my first exposure to Larry. Let's give your mom a shout out. Tiger John, Swiss Miss, and Charcoal Marie. Nice. Is that right? No, that's not right. Do not click that link. I should have just I'm running out of brain power, man. Yes, okay. So your mom is currently playing some Apple II game. So if you're into that, you're in no means obliged to come along with the raid. Check them out. But I would like to go say hi to Ghoulbabe because Leisure Suit Larry is a vibe. Leisure Suit Larry 3, first exposure to Leisure Suit Larry. We used to... because, you know, Leisure Suit Larry 3, it does the age verification questions and asks you things like about Nixon's presidency and things that you would not know if you weren't of age and American. But we would just brute force the questions until we could get through the age verification questions. Yeah. So, how do I do this? How do I end stream? Here's a raid mess. OBS never lets me type into this thing properly. It looks like it's selected for input, but it's not actually. There we go. So there's a raid message. Copy it if you want. And I will go /raid Ghoulbabe. And Ghoulbabe's great. Yeah. Another cool retro streamer. Go check him out if you like. I will see you when I see you. No promises. I have some socials where I will post generally just like immediately as I go live. There is a Discord if you want maybe an hour's notice, pre-warning that I might go live. Good stream, Neko. Thank you, Dr. Yasma, for being here. It's good to see you. Like, one thing I've missed from this full-time game, from this full-time job, is, like, I don't get as much time to catch up with everybody's Twitch streams, everybody's Discords, all of that stuff. Yeah, so it's good to see people. Thanks for the stream. Thanks for being here, YGY. Thank you, everyone. Take care, look after yourselves. Try not to overwork yourselves, holy crap. I will see you when I see you. Bye-bye.